Hi guys, thanks for joining me. Something a bit different this time round. I've been looking at this kit for quite some time. It's a 156 scale Churchill tank, and it's been designed to be used for wargaming primarily. So a bit of an odd scale, to be honest, but I'm having a bit of a thing for Churchills at the moment. And when I saw that this had got 25% off, I decided to take the plunge. In fact, I bought a second one. Now, one of the reasons I bought this kit is that you can do quite a few variants. You can do the Mark III with 75mm, Mark IV, the AVR, E, Mark V, NA75 and Mark VI, which is pretty impressive for just one kit. Obviously you have to choose which one to build, although you could perhaps, I don't know whether you could perhaps build up one of the early variants with the welded turret and gun, and then build another one with the cast turret and say the mortar gun. So you could perhaps do that. I don't know, you'd have to have a look at the instructions. So I wanted this so that I could build perhaps the Mark III and the Mark III 75mm, because I haven't got those in other scales. So we'll have a quick look at the sprues and see what the details like on this. So here's the first sprue. There are three grey sprues altogether, and as you can see, we've got the sides of the tank here with the road wheels shown there. This is the glacis plate for the machine gun. And I think those two boxes are the exhaust systems for the Churchill. If we move down a bit, we've got the commander figure, and then we've got the other side of the halves, sorry, the other halves of the sides showing the road wheels again. So that's the first sprue. Second sprue, we've got the tank deck and the skirts, top of the skirts for the tracks. I think that's quite nicely detailed myself. And then if I flip it over, we've got the welded turret and the cast turret. So as I say, whether as a wargamer you can do a variant with the welded turret and the cast turret, I don't know. Of course, you've got the guns here, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, is it 5 different main armaments you can put on this. So you should be able to work it that you could swap the turret out. Looks like you've got two types of machine gun there as well for the whole machine gun. I'm really liking this kit, guys, I have to confess. Here we have the tracks, and they are complete tracks. So if you wanted to be crafty, I think you could not use some of these on the tracks because they're hidden by the skirts of the tank, and then you could just add additional tracks to the tank to give it a bit of variety. And here's the hull of the tank. And as I say, some really nice detail. I'm looking forward to putting these together. As I say, I've got two. Here's the decal sheet, and what I like about this is the instructions give you options for 5 types, so A, B, C, D and E. But if you look at A, you can, I think there may be 5 or 6 different tank numbers there. So because I've got 2 kits, if I wanted to, I could make up 2 kits for Normandy and then have different tank numbers on them, which would be really good, especially if you're planning doing on dioramas. So that's a really nice touch. As you can see, the kit is made by Italeri in conjunction with Warlord. So we are talking obviously a model company producing a wargaming kit. Here's the instructions. I'll move these back a bit. So it looks quite straightforward build, and that's where I said that the tracks are all go all the way round. So you know, you could have this feeding into the top of the track guards, underneath the track guards, cut this section out because you won't see it, and then use those as spare tracks as additional armour on the turrets and whatever, which should be really nice. As I say, it looks like a very straightforward build, and hopefully an easier build than some of the 1/72 ones. Just that up there. I think they include some, that's the welded turret, and it actually helps you there to tell you which versions had the welded turret. And then down here you have the cast turret, and it tells you what versions here had the cast turret. So that's really cool, really clever, love that. The AVRE version, and then it gives you the tanks and the regiments you could represent for each mark. So you got 7th Royal Tank Regiment Normandy with the Mark 375. You got that should be 51st Royal Tank Regiment, the 4th Mark, sorry, for the Mark 4. What's that one? That's a Mark 3 LLMA. The NA 75 in Italy, 45 North Irish Horse, and then the AVRE 79th Armoured Division Normandy. So this looks like a really nice kit, and we'll just have to see how well it builds up. I'm looking forward to doing this as one of my office builds. As I mentioned before, I'll take a kit along to the office, and then during my lunch hours I'll put it together. So yeah, thanks ever so much for watching, and I hope you found that interesting. Anybody who's perhaps looking to use this in wargaming or somebody who, like myself, has got an interest in Churchill tanks, I may build these up and use them, as I say, for using them in bolt action, but that kind of project's a long way off the actual bolt action stuff. So I'll catch up with you soon.